Hi and welcome to this video for you who grew up with a narcissistic mother. My name is Åse Wegerif and I'm a survivor and a counselor, and in this video I want to talk to you about a special kind of injury that I do see regularly that is a result of a mother wound. And when you have a narcissistic mother, this can be one of the issues that you struggle with. And what we're going to talk about is when you become what other people want you to be, when you step into being, sensing, having such a deep empathy that you develop in order to protect yourself as a child with a narcissistic mother, not being seen for who you are and yet having to be for her needs, for her what she wants, how she sees you as an extension of her and you not knowing anything different, so being that extension of her, meaning that you lose your authentic self and come into a sort of you're in a role that you act, you're trying to be what she wants you to be. So the result of this is that sometimes people in relationships as adults can show up. It's not something that you necessarily become aware of immediately, but after you get to know someone, you can sometimes see that a person is kind of like a chameleon, kind of like, there are different words for this, like someone's acting with you, someone's acting so that you will be on the right side of them. Someone is pleasing you so much that they where they are is completely invisible to you. So someone who's a shapeshifter, someone who just molds themselves into being what they think that you want them to be. And quite often in a relationship with a person like this, it feels really good on the other side. You're with someone who is easy to get along with, you seem to have perhaps things in common, they're there when you need them, there's a lot of positive things about it. But after a while, if you're then not a narcissist and you're actually there, which this then originated with because the narcissist loved that this was the case, but if you're actually a person of empathy, of morality, a person who wants to be in a genuinely good relationship, then after a while you might start realizing that you're wondering about the other person, there's a sense of them not being real with you. There's a sense of them. That's when you can start to gain awareness of the fact that someone's actually not being, it's not that they're not being genuine, because this is on a personality level where people, these survival tracks that we're in catch us, and it's not like we can just step out of them. But when you're in a relationship with them, a person like this, and I've been on both sides of this myself, being pulled into being, empathizing, being pulled into being who I thought the other person was, and not having a clear sense of myself, meaning that I didn't know well enough who I was. I didn't, every time I thought I asserted myself with my mother, she would counter me with something that got me lost in terms of myself. So but also when I'm sitting in as a therapist, sitting in sessions with people, and I realize that then where are they? It's as if they're missing. It's as if they're not there. It's just a chameleon who will just adapt themselves, or it's like an actor who will put themselves in the role of being the perfect other, or without actually choosing to, it just happens. And like shape-shifting. So it does mean that after a while, when you want to have a real relationship, it's really impossible to get one. It's because the other person, this is what they are like in relationship, and So it gets really frustrating because you realize that they are not actually being genuine on a level. You know, on one level, they're not actually being genuine, but they maybe feel like they are, and they don't know how to access themselves, or they don't know how to be themselves in relationship. So there is a core of authenticity here in the person that is not expressed, that is perhaps not accessed, that is perhaps lost. It's a person who hasn't learned that there can be two people in a relationship, and both can be seen, and both can be. That's how to build a really good, healthy relationship. So both parties lose out this way. It might feel really good on the other side of a person like this for a while, but if you're married to someone like this, or if you are in a long-term friendly relationship, or then it gets lonely on the other side. It gets you don't know what the other person's really thinking. You don't know who they really are, because all you ever get is the mask, is the survival pattern. So if this is you and you struggle with this, then it might be hard for you you maybe don't know how to act differently, and you can see that you're carrying on these survival patterns of not being authentic, and perhaps not even knowing who you are, and what's the right decisions for you, and what your preferences are. Because the more you keep on doing this, the more this is the way that you're living, and this leads away from your authentic self. So how can you get an authentic relationship? How can you get a functional relationship if you're not being honest with yourself or the other person? So this is what I want to say to you then, is that it was necessary for you. You wouldn't have been like this if it wasn't necessary for you. If you had been seen, then you would have, your authenticity, who you truly are, would have been already as a child. You could access it, you could be proud of it, you could think that this was good, you could express it and have expectations of this being seen and accepted by others. But when you haven't had this experience, then it doesn't strengthen the relationship to yourself. That's what I do a lot in therapy, is I see who people are, and I mirror that back to them so that they can connect with themselves. But this is that's one way of doing it. You can, if you're able to, you can get therapy, and you can also contact me for it if you want. But so it's what you need is being in a different environment, being in a different kind of relationship, where there are people, or is a person on the other side who can understand why this happened to you. As in, you had to survive your narcissistic mother, and that's how you came to be a chameleon, an actor, and a shapeshifter. And then later on, you've maybe been around people who are narcissistic, more narcissists. That's how it tends to go for most of us, until we start on an authentic track, until we start shedding these survival patterns. And the way to shed them is in a relationship that is different. It's in an environment where you can begin to trust, begin to listen to the authenticity in yourself, begin to really think about how you were molded, begin to untangle yourself from this, have the truthful conversations, where you're maybe exposed to truthful other people in the same journey, and so on. And I want to say to you, even if it's just parts of you, or if this is we're all different. Some people have this to a large extent. Other people have this coming up in different situations with different people, and so on. But it's still a layer that you can. It's still something that you can break. It's not a a quick process, but you need to be on a path towards it. You need tools in order to be able to walk in that right direction. Without it, and on your own, it can be quite difficult to do anything about it. So if this video really resonates with you, or other videos that I have really resonates with you, then that might be a sign that you're getting what you need emotionally from this. And that's no wonder. I mean, I've gone this route myself. I've trained. This is what I do. I help people with this. So I also have in June a 12-week healing journey program, which will help you out of survival patterns and into your authentic self. And I'd love for you to consider that if this and my YouTube channel really resonates with you. So what you can do is to send me an email. My email is in the description of this video. What you can also do is to join, get my free quiz about self-invalidation, which means how you've been dismissed, your true feelings having been dismissed by your narcissistic mother. Often means, for survivors, what I see in therapy is that people really do dismiss themselves, which leads them nowhere good and leads into more dysfunction. So just the awareness of that you can get from the quiz can already help you. So you can get that, because then you can also you come into my world and you can get more information about the program. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'd love to see you again. Please do comment, like, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, because that really helps support my work. So thank you for that, and I wish you well and all the best to you. Bye-bye.